All right, weather didn't cooperate today, so after I wound up doing a show, we're in the studio. This is where we wind up running the Rants of Izzo on Mojo 50 Radio, so bear with me. But we're keeping this simple again, talking about a concept for a technique. Jump Sao is what I'm covering today, and it's one of my favorite mechanically sound movements. I just love it. And we're going to go do some blackboard work in a second so I can explain to you the points of it coming out. But remember, right now everything is staying static. Okay, so you're keeping in your horse stance. That's why you're not seeing any waist movement from the bottom down. This is all self-perfection training. Again, when you go back to the first video that I did, it was talking about holding your horse, staying there, not moving, because you're not going to be doing any rotation of your torso. So again, in this movement where I've got my vest on and tied to represent center line, you're not going to see one part of my torso turn. No wrinkles in the vest, no wrinkles. That's saying if you have wrinkles in your t-shirt when you train or your clothing, what that's showing is that your hips may be going forward, but your waist isn't. And you can go back to class, I believe it's 4, when I talk about the independence of hip and waist energy. And we're going to be getting into that in the future. A great question that was asked on a live video the other day, because we do Thursdays, we do live 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern, live Q&A, was how do you generate power from a turning punch if you're doing a 70-30 split weight distribution versus a 50-50? Or, excuse me, I haven't answered that question. I will answer that tomorrow. That is, you have to watch tomorrow's answer for that. So let's look at jump out from a straight point of view. And when you're doing your movements, your hands are chambered, all right? And jump out is simply coming out. Just showing you from a front angle. And just like I did the other day on videos, coming right, I showed you on Wednesday, I'm just doing a movement coming out. Yesterday or Monday too, on the first form, it was just a finish motion of the first form. This is the same thing, really short today. Jump out. Jump out is coming from a forward motion out. You basically have from right side, you're gonna open up your hand, relax it, and you're projecting your elbow forward. Projecting your elbow forward. You can see my hand's not at Tan Sao. It's not at Wu Sao either. Man Sao, Wu Sao. It's not. It's the most natural position for your hand to go forward. From a side view, jump Sao. Jump Sao. If you watch my elbow is turned back as it comes forward, feeds forward, and it stays along the line of being out to the side a little bit at an angle. Your wrist is on line with your center line, and your hand is almost at a 45-degree angle. Jump. We're going to get, as time goes on, jumps out in action, how it's a slicing motion. It's almost like it's pressing, it's slicing, it's striking, it's dicing. I love jump out motion. And we're going to go to the board in a second here to talk about it. But you're going to talk about the turn. Let me talk about that turn. You put all these motions in your turn as time goes on. We'll get to that. You have to get the movements down so far. Again, go back to the other lessons I've had on here to see the other movements that we put in. We have Bong Sao, we have Tan Sao, we have Yun Sao, we have Punch, Jump Sao today. There's not that many. We're going to just put these in first, and then once you get to master them in a static position, training in your horse, then we're going to be talking about the energies behind them. All right, let's bang this out of the way so you guys get back to your quarantine. Real briefly, again, jump Sao motion it's jump Sao sinking. There's a lot to it. There's a sinking, there's a corkscrewing action. It's just dynamic. You have to, once again, keep in mind that Wing Chun is alive. Pay attention to it. We're going very fast through the weapons over the next couple of weeks. I mean, we got the Pak Sao, Tan Sao, Gan Sao we got to cover up. Jump Sao's today. Bill Sao. I mean, we're just going to get through them. Yun Sao you got. I mean, everything else off of that, elbows, you're going to see are just, they come out of nowhere. They come out of everything, if you will. The immovable elbow theory, we'll talk about that with Gan Sao's. But for jump Sao, one of the reasons that I like jump Sao so much is the points of which the energy is focused. Now, you just saw a very quick demonstration of what it is. Stand on your horse, feed it out like a punch, but at the same time, it's in between a Tan Sao and a punch. Your elbow is a little bit out to the side on this. The biggest thing of why I think jump Sao is a great training tool is the 2 points of energy of where you're putting out from your body. Now, Put the arm independent the rest of the body. Keep in mind that the rest of your body, you got your head, you got your spine, your center of gravity at your hips, your feet go down. And we have to keep coming back to this. Remember, the tripod comes down, the hips go forward with the energy, your 5 points of your center line, all that projected energy going forward and down at the same time. So that's all your base, your root, your horse, everything you should be paying attention to with every technique that you do. Jump Sao introduces, in my opinion, one of the first simultaneous actions of wrist and elbow in unison with energy. What I mean by that is it's coming down in a slanted position, right? You got slightly past 45-degree angle. It's about maybe 35-degree angle coming out. In this, your elbow, it's not going down. It's going forward towards your target, right? Because you're pushing, you're feeding that wrist going forward. So your elbow energy should be going forward. But at the same time, once you wind up doing that, your wrist energy should be going forward as well. So at the finished spot, because it's easier to start the concept when finished, once you're finished with Jump Sao, think of your wrist is going forward and your elbow is going forward, and it's separated by just a few inches of a line that's just separated by a few inches. And then as you continue to train that, you're going to feel, oh shit, both of those are going forward. That, in part, is going to help everything else you do. So that concept, the motion for Jump Sao might be going, cross corkscrew, if you will, and you're feeding it out. And yeah, you could picture a punch coming in and you're Jump Saoing across from it. That's where it really lives in the wooden dummy. You really see the Jump Sao come in at the wooden dummy because you're not Gan Saoing across the dummy. You're Gan Saoing and Jump Saoing. It's not a tan. It's a jump. You're Jump Saoing into that dummy, which turns into a punch. So just this action, the training of this weapon teaches you how to improve your punch. It really does. So the biggest focal point I'm asking you to focus on when you wind up doing the Jump Sao motion static in your horse is to focus on the elbow energy going forward in relationship to the wrist energy going forward. Because it really takes nothing from this to be an open hand to a closed hand to make it a fist for a punch. You're going to see your Jump Sao aids your punch. Okay, just the concept. See you guys tomorrow, 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern for a live Q&A here on the channel. Make sure you like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. See you guys tomorrow night.